Fantastic. Awesome. We are live, and I am so excited for everyone who is jumping on with us tonight. This is a very special night, making history, because this is the very first of the Becoming series. So I will just wait for people to jump on. We are currently live on YouTube, on Facebook at Chantell Davis Personal, and then my page. So if you can quickly go on there and join us. You can tag some friends, because this is going to be something very spectacular. I'm going to speak with a guest, and most of you already know who she is. And you are welcome to mention in the comments. I'm going to be able to bring some of your comments on, so you can tell us where you're watching from and what your expectation is. And then if you want to ask this special guest any questions, then you can post them there, and I will bring some of your questions on, and we will see if she can perhaps answer them for you later on. But we're going to have a nice, authentic talk tonight with this very special lady, and I'm going to mention her name in a second. I just want you to comment, quickly tag your friends, share this feed. Let us go far and wide, infiltrate, impact. Hi, hello, Charlene. Awesome. Thank you so much for sharing and for tagging, and for everyone else. I really want you to share and tag as far and wide as possible. So what is this that I'm doing right now? This is my Becoming series. So the Lord has spoken to me about the process of becoming a person of value. And many times we look at an individual who we deem to be very successful in their sphere of influence, and the thought might cross our minds that they are just an overnight success. And someone once said that it took them 15 years to become an overnight success. And in this series of Becoming, I am going to be speaking to people in various sectors of influence in our country and abroad, on how their process worked. What are the times where no one sees? What happens behind the scenes? What is the blood, the sweat, the tears from where you set a goal to where you reach it? And I believe tonight's guest that I've got on is going to blow your minds with just her journey. And I think that she never thought that this might be where she is at this stage of her life. So thank you so much. I see that Mary's on, Charlene, great stuff. She's still tagging along there. And now I'm going to take no more time. I'm introducing to you right now an amazing woman, and her name is Tasnim Young-Norris. So Tasnim, I want to welcome you.
Can you hear us? Thank you so much, Chantell. Yes, I can. Thank you so much for that beautiful intro, and I am so honored to be here tonight to talk to you and your viewers on your platform, and to be the first on the Becoming show. Thank you so much.
Wonderful. Amen. So there's so many people that's jumping on all the various platforms. So I just want to tell you a little bit, who is this woman with this fantastic bright pink clothing and she's gracing us with her beauty tonight, and her olive skin and just her youthfulness. And she is one of the 30 finalists of Mrs South Africa, the class of 2022. Now, I want to hear all about her journey. I want to know who this woman is, and why is it that we should vote for her? Because the people's vote counts too. So in a moment, I'm going to give you the means to vote for Tasnim as the people's choice, because I believe it's is it on the 11th of November, Tasnim, when your finals are at?
Yeah, correct. It is, yes.
Awesome. So Tasnim, won't you just tell us a little bit about yourself? I know that you're actually a businesswoman. You're not just a beauty and a face to adore, but you said you're also into occupational health and safety. You're an auditor. You did marketing and sales. Tell us a little bit about who is Tasnim.
So Tasnim is a mom, firstly, a wife. I am also an entrepreneur. So I have a home baking industry, bake wedding cakes and novelty cakes.
Wow.
Yes. And I have a full-time job, work for a chemicals company. And yeah, just loving life. I am 49 years old. So I am one of the oldest contestants in the Mrs South Africa 2022 finalists. I'm very proud of that because it comes with a lot of wealth of just experience with life itself as well. So, but yeah, that's basically me in a nutshell. Yeah, studied marketing, did that for about 14 years, then decided I wanted to get into quality, did that for another 7 years in auditing, and then now just recently decided to switch again. I love the challenges and I love learning new things and just, working with people and doing things with people. So yeah,
Wow.
that's basically me.
That's a mouthful. I wonder actually. Look, let's see what the people are saying here. 49 still looks good, eh? I
Thank you.
absolutely loved what you said. The confidence in the fact that you're not just older, but that you come with a wealth of experience, of knowledge. You bring something to the table. You've been where others are still having to go. And what I sense or pick up from you is that you are a woman who are willing to hand over the baton as well, to teach others, to lift other women up, because I believe that you've walked a journey that many might not believe when they look at this beautiful woman sitting here full of confidence tonight. I can see a woman that is whole. I can see a woman who understands who she is, where she's been. And then I just want to point out something. I read that you said that scars are beautiful. And I believe that the women who are watching tonight might be encouraged by that. But do you mind sharing with us what that
Yeah,
means?
no problem at all. So when I started the Mrs. South Africa journey, and this started around March, I always knew that I had some purpose, or we all do have a purpose in life, right? And I wasn't too sure of mine all these years. And being on this journey is where I genuinely found my purpose. And that is to create awareness on GBV and breast cancer as well, which I'm a survivor of both.
Wow.
So yeah, the breast cancer I always wanted to talk about, and I did as much as I could, but I didn't have the big platform that I have now. So I've made good use of that, going out and talking at schools, talking just to breast cancer patients themselves, and just to at women's talks also. GBV is something that I won't say I'm a very open person, right? So I wouldn't say that I didn't really talk about it, but I wasn't as open. And being in the Mrs. South Africa made me realize that there are so many women out there, women who either have lost their self love or just never had self love.
Hmm.
And when I say self love, I'm not talking about being arrogant, about loving yourself. Somebody that genuinely just loves who they are and the person that they are, no matter what you look like, because we all are so beautiful. Women are the phenomenal beings. And me talking about my personal experiences and where I was and where I am now at my age kind of gives people hope. And I've heard a lot of people saying that every time I talk, it's almost like a beacon of hope, which has really touched my heart so much because I'm just talking from the heart. I mean, I'm not a professional. I'm not a medical doctor either when it comes to cancer. So I talk about my own personal experiences and what I've been through. And that has given a lot of women hope as well. So just touching on that a little bit, in 2016, I was
Yes.
diagnosed with stage 3 breast cancer.
Wow.
And yeah, a lot of things changed for me at that time. I could have fallen apart where you feel like, you're at death's door, basically. Is this the end for me? And I decided, no, it's not going to be. I
Wow.
had 2 kids. I needed to support them still, being a single mom at the time, because I'd just gotten divorced as well. So I needed to get through it, which I
Sure.
did, right? But during that time of all my treatments, chemo, the operation, radiation, I discovered myself.
Mm,
So I went through a stage where at the beginning I kept questioning God, and I'd say, well, why me? Haven't I been through enough? Why do I still have to go through this? I thought this was a part where, I'm going to start really enjoying my life. And you kind of get to a point also then you realize, well, why not me? What makes me so special that I can't get through this? That, why can't I do it? So I changed my thinking, and became very positive about it. But also during that time, which I didn't realize at the time, I only realized that another 3, 4 years afterwards, is that during all of that, where I felt so sick, my body was going through so much, I actually discovered me. I found
mm,
me. So I found self love. And when I say I found self love, is the day I could look in the mirror,
mm.
and
Come on.
we all do this. You all do this. We look in the mirror every day, right? But not just looking in the mirror, looking into my eyes, deep into my eyes. It took a while where I could say to myself, Tasnim, I forgive you. Tasnim, I love you. And I can do that now, just like that. Previously, I couldn't. A lot of crying, a lot of just healing that I needed to go through as well. So, in discovering myself, I then also realized the GBV that I'd been through, the gender based violence, physical and emotional abuse that I had from both my kids' dads, because they're both from different fathers. And I was married to both of them. So,
Sure.
yes, yeah, yeah. So, my first husband was a lot of physical abuse, and got to a point where I had guns put to my head, and
Wow.
I was almost killed. Yeah, so that was quite a long thing that I put myself through, and I say I put myself because I stayed in it for a while, and then got out of it, but then got myself into another marriage, where I thought that this was it. This is where I'm going to be. I had my second child, my daughter, and we're going to be this wonderful family.
Mm,
But then I also realized that I was putting so much into this marriage to make it work, because I didn't want to be a failure again. Because, society looks at you, and how can I now get divorced a second time? So I really tried for about 10 years, but then realized that the emotional abuse from that marriage really wasn't worth it. So I walked away. And during that time of my self healing, I realized that I didn't grow up with my dad. And I never thought it was a problem because he never was around. So they usually say, when you don't have something, how are you going to miss it? But for me, it was the validation, being accepted. And I
yes.
felt that I never truly was accepted. And I kept looking for love from the wrong people in the wrong ways.
Yes.
And yeah, so I didn't know it was a problem. I didn't know I was missing something. I just thought I was the strong woman, and, I can look after my kids and whatever it is and just carry on with life. And then through that self discovery, I realized that a lot had to do with my dad not being in my life at the time, and how even at the age of 16, I remember my 16th birthday, and um, sending this letter to this address that my mom had in Germany, and hoping that I'd get a response back or a happy birthday or something, and
Wow.
I never did, because he had moved from the address anyway, which I found out later at the age of 24, was the first time I actually spoke to my dad, and we do have a good relationship now. Um, but that huge gap that I had did a lot of damage to me. And I had to forgive myself. I had to forgive him. Forgiveness is such a beautiful thing. And then forgive my partners, as my ex-partners as well, so that I could move on. And in doing so, I believe that when you love yourself, you give so much love out into the world as well, that you you bring in that love without even knowing it, and it's a genuine love, and that is exactly what happened to me. So beautiful fairy tale ending to that. Met my third husband, yes, and the most amazing man. Wonderful stepdad to my kids, to me. He treats me he treats me the way a woman is supposed to be treated. So I'm really glad with everything I've been through, how much I've learned, and where I am right now. And this is my experience is what I use to teach women that yes, we make mistakes. We humans, we're not perfect. God forgives us. We need to forgive ourselves as well. And just keep looking in the right way for love, and everything in your life. If you need to be single, that's okay. But you need to also be happy, because I also believe that God did not put us on this earth to be unhappy at all.
Hmm.
So yeah,
Oh,
so that's a lot of what I speak to women about.
powerful. What I've just seen, Tasnim, is I've got a similar story. I just believe that the the enemy, Satan, he is really quite unoriginal. So he has the same schemes, same kind of strategy all across the board. And then he comes just with a different, I call it different jacket that he puts on, and we think that it's totally unique. But if we start speaking out, because many people, many women are in isolation and they think that their stories are unique, they have to suffer in silence. There's no one else that can understand what they're going through. But I believe that the Lord is really taking the mask even off in the spirit and having women speak out. And the role of a father is something that is so vital. I've seen time and again how fathers fall away, and especially in South Africa. I know that we've got people watching from all over the world, but in South Africa, they've even called us a fatherless generation, where the dads, there's a lot of rejection and so forth, because there's a lot of divorce or people that just don't even get married. And what happens is that a mom is there as a nurturer, and it's just a normal instinct that God made us to be able to nurture, to love. But what a mom will notice is that there comes a time in a child's life where they automatically kind of push a mom away, because there's a desire, an inherent need for the father. Why is that? It is because a father is a carrier of identity and destiny. That is what a father has to do. And many times when a dad is out of the scene, that is when the door is wide open for the enemy to come in. And especially for daughters, we might think that it's boys that needs their dad to be strong and so forth. Yes, they do. But a girl, a daughter needs her father. It's the one who's actually supposed to be standing at the door and stopping guys from coming in, those wrong decisions that we make, because we've got a deep need for love, for affirmation, to know that we actually have a purpose in life. And then these men come on the scene, they take more than they should, because dad is not in the position where he's the doorpost. But also we can't say, fathers, where are you? Because the sad thing is they don't know. So Tasnim, one of my strong mandates is to help fathers understand that you should stay the course, that you should not get out of that place, even though it's so hard. And then for children to understand the vital role that a father actually plays. And in the end of the day, in the Bible, it says that the hearts of the fathers and the children are coming together. So it's so beautiful for me to hear that now you've got a great relationship with your dad. Now I've got a great relationship with my dad. But I pray that that hole that some of you are even watching or listening right now, if you've got that deep void, perhaps your dad is not one to come back. Perhaps you've been so rejected, and then by continual people in influence or in authority in your life, because it starts with the father, then it goes to maybe a boss that shuns you, or a teacher, or anyone in authority. And what happens later is that you put such a shield on your heart, and you don't even know who you are yourself. And I pray that God, as the Father, the ultimate good Father, will come tonight and just mend your heart and show you where the brokenness totally is. But I want us to get back on track with your Mrs. South Africa journey, because this is not just a nobody. This is one of the 30 few women. I mean, 30. Only 30 women
Yeah.
that have been chosen out of the entire South Africa as the finalist. And here is one, Tasnim Young-Norris. So if you look at the ticker down at the bottom, you can see how you can vote for this wonderful, strong woman who's just shared with us her testimony of how she's overcome, how she had to fight physical things in her body, how she had to fight to get out of a place where she was abused and broken and so forth. And now she's standing with a mandate of hope. And if you want to vote for her as the people's choice, then the information is right there. You SMS. So this is not a WhatsApp line, please. This is an SMS. It's going to cost you 3 Rand. You cannot buy anything, not even a chappy for 3 Rand anymore. So spend that 3 Rand, invest it by choosing Tasnim as our people's choice of Mrs. South Africa. And you send that, her name, Tasnim Young-Norris, it's on the screen, to 47587. I'm going to keep it on there, and you can go and follow her. Go to Instagram, go to LinkedIn, go to Facebook, and you have to follow the journey, because it is almost the 11th of November. So 2.5 weeks from now, it's going to be the crowning, and we want to see this woman just thrive. So I've got a few more questions that I thought of. So Tasnim, did you initially, when you entered Mrs. South Africa, and you put your photos and your short 30-second YouTube video on there, what was your initial thought? Did you think that you're going to get to semi-final? Did you think that you're going to be a finalist?
No, definitely not a finalist. Semi-finalist, to be chosen in the top 100. I had a big hope for that. I wasn't confident that I would, knowing my age, because I actually did think that counted against me. And the fact that I've got tattoos as well. I never thought that I would ever enter. Well, in fact, I didn't even know there was a Mrs. South Africa up until a few months prior to me entering. So that was never, at the top of my mind. Although from the age of 15, around there, I always wanted to enter the Miss South Africa. I love pageants, and obviously life happened, and I had my son at 23. So I kind of put that all at a back burner. And when I saw the Mrs. South Africa, I felt that it's a second chance. I can now fulfill a dream that I've always wanted as a young girl. And being in the top 30 and everything that I've accomplished in the last 8.5 months already, for me, I felt like I've won. There's so much that I've gotten out of this journey. I promise you, and I'm not just saying it because I'm still in the running. I'd still be saying this next year as well. It's everything that they tell you it is. The women empowering, when I sat at the first workshop with these 100 beautiful younger females, where I felt so intimidated at the beginning, I sat there and I listened to everybody talking and telling us how they're going to empower us and all the wonderful things we're going to learn on this journey. And I was like, yeah, right. At my age, what do they need to teach me? I was like, okay, let them carry on talking. It's fine. And it happens without you even knowing it. You become so much more confident, so much more aware of yourself as a woman, and how much we and you can contribute to society. So yes, it's very, very empowering. It's such a beautiful journey. It's hard because there is work and there's compulsory tasks that need to be completed as well. But it's with anything, and anything you want in life, whether it's an MBA or whatever it is, you've got to work towards it. So it's
Mm.
exactly the same, but it really is beautiful.
So now I want to ask you two things. Now that you're getting to the final stretch, I've been seeing some of your journey, and I see that there have been great friendships formed. And now the final is closing in on you. And like Paul says in the Bible, he says that all of us are running this race. All of us are in this pageant, but only a few can win the prize. So obviously now the reality is coming that there is one Mrs. South Africa, and maybe there are two princesses that would be
Yep.
chosen and so forth, and a few people's choice. So there's those nominees. But has anything changed in this last, maybe since you had your photo shoot and the all white bathing suits and all of that? Do you feel there's a pressure suddenly, or is there any change in relationships, or that people are being super focused on their own journey?
Chantell, I promise you, the weekend that you're talking about was, I think, was it about 2 weekends ago? We went to Atia Kafia Resorts, Godini Spa in where's that? Yeah, Worcester side in the Cape, and all of us ladies were there. We had such an awesome time. We had so much fun. It was a lot of work because of hair, makeup, 3-4 times a day, changing clothes, and being there all the time with so many women. So you'd think there'd be jealousy, you'd think there'd be a bit of cattishness, but no. Me personally, I've never experienced it. I haven't heard
Wow.
any of my fellow Mrs. South Africa sisters say anything about anybody else.
Wow.
I honestly don't feel like I'm in a competition. I know it is a competition, and on the 11th, we're going to go out, and you just got to do what you need to do for you and be yourself, your authentic self.
Yes.
But I've never felt the need to compete with one or all of them. We have a sisterhood WhatsApp group, besides everything else that we do with Mrs. South Africa, just for the ladies. And this is where we talk, motivate, encourage each other,
Wow.
try to help each other for getting the sponsors in as much as we can, selling tickets. If somebody sold more than what they needed to sell, we give it over to the next sister. So
Wow.
that is what we do. It really, yeah, the sisterhood is real. We
Come
got an
on. I'm
amazing
super
team. I
encouraged by
promise you.
that.
Yeah.
Wow.
No, it's beautiful. It's
So
beautiful.
if there is someone who's watching perhaps or listening to the rebroadcast or the podcast and so forth, and they have been wondering, it's not just been sitting right in their spirit, why would a person enter a pageant? And is it all just for vanity? What would you say? I know you've been speaking so much. I think people are just like, wow, I know all of these contestants are overcoming something. But if there's someone who's really thinking, is this just vain? You see what's happening in our country, you see what's happening in the world. Are you guys oblivious to all of that, and you're just all about
Mm-mm.
dresses and fancy and so forth? What would you say to someone like that?
So, firstly, yes, it is part of looking pretty, putting on some makeup, a lovely dress, and standing in front of the camera. That is a part of it, but it's not the biggest part of it. The bigger part is about you finding yourself as a person, if that is what you need. If you're confident 100% in who you are, and you have that self-love, which I'm hoping majority of women do or will find it soon. You come into this competition to share that love with everybody that you meet, the public out there. I've done so many talks, and just seeing the smile, the sparkle in somebody's eyes. If you as a woman feel that you want to give back to society, it doesn't matter what it is. I've got my purpose, but that's my personal experience. The other women have got so many other things that they've now discovered, and are talking out more openly about as well, whether
Wow.
it's mental illness, dyslexia, ADHD.
Wow.
Please don't get me wrong. It's not like we are, a bunch of women that has got so much wrong with us. there, there is, because that's what it sounds like when I'm saying it. But no, there are women that don't have all these tragedies or traumas or anything mentally or physically wrong with them. There are women that have normal lives, lives that we should all be living, but they've got a purpose to give back. So whether it's to the underprivileged, whether it's opening up your own NPO, there's a charity that it's compulsory for us each to do and raise a certain amount of money. So that was also exciting for me. My first time doing a charity because I was forced to do it, and then did it. And I was like, wow, it was such an awesome, awesome feeling. And it's amazing how many people, when you say, okay, mine was obviously cancer, my choice of charity.
Oh, so you can choose. Sorry that I interrupt. So you can choose your choice of charity or not.
Yeah, so these two, the Mrs South Africa tell you which ones, the registered NPOs that will be working with for the year. This year it was cancer, which is the society that they do research work and help a lot of cancer patients that can't afford treatment. And then SAICA, which is the South African Animal Cancer
So the doggies
Association as
and stuff.
well. Yeah, yeah. So those were the two that we could choose. And then I obviously chose cancer. And just doing that event was so beautiful because the people that came together, the people that offered their help to me, just helping me put the whole event together was so beautiful. I was so touched with all of that. So back to your question, somebody that wants to enter, if you feel you need to get to another space in your life, or if you feel you need to be empowered in some way or gain your confidence, then Mrs. South Africa is definitely for you. And it's up until the age of 55 as well.
Wow, that's very interesting. So I can see all of the people in this live they're going to enter as well. Let me just quickly see if there's another question. If anyone who is listening on the live right now, if you have a question for Tasnim, don't let this opportunity go by. And then tonight you lie in bed and you're like, I so wish I asked her this question. So please do that. We always say that the opportunity of a lifetime has to be seized within the lifetime of that opportunity. And this is that lifetime. Come on. So you can ask her anything. She's an open book. Maybe there's something that you thought about and no one has ever answered that, and you're wondering what it is like behind the scenes and so forth. Maybe I can ask you something, Tasnim. How does it work with sponsorships? Does people easily come on board when you reach out to them? Or obviously they give you guidelines and all of those things and training and stuff like that. But do you find that businesses are generally open-hearted towards this cause of Mrs. South Africa?
So yes and no, depends on the type of businesses you approach. Some of the girls have had it easier where they either know somebody in a company that is willing to sponsor them. You get personal sponsorships as well. You get a lot of no's. You get a lot of people that think, well, a beauty pageant, why would I want to give my money to a beauty pageant? We do explain, and I have explained to a lot of the people that I approached as well. It's not about it being a beauty pageant. It's about, and I'll say it again, women empowering. We try to and should be authentic as much as we can with the way we present ourselves, with our purpose in life and what we want to do out there and the changes we want to make and how we want to help as much as we can. So that does come across to some people not. And, it is what it unfortunately is. But you do get a lot of companies that are, yeah, sure, especially when we see what one of our main sponsors for the Mrs. South Africa, the companies that they have brought on board. It's not just about makeup and about beauty. Our main sponsor at the moment is Pangela Group, which is a security company, and they put a lot of money and awareness into GBV as well. So for
Wow,
me, that was super awesome to see that, you
absolutely.
know, and they back us, they behind us 100%. So no, it's not just about looking pretty and being beautiful. It's a perk, you know, but it is there.
Of course. What else did I want to ask you? I wanted to ask you, what was one of the biggest struggles, or I don't want to say inner demons, but things that you had to overcome in yourself in this journey, or that you discovered that maybe you didn't realize it initially, but once you were posed with things that you have to do, what did you have to overcome?
So overcoming, I think my biggest one would be asking for help, because that's what I had to do with the sponsorship part, right? I had to go out to people, I had to have meetings, I had to send emails, I had to pick up the phone and basically say to them, choose me as your brand ambassador. I will promote your product or your company on my social media platform. So I had to give them good reasons why I was a good brand ambassador for them,
Mm,
you know. So I think that was my biggest challenge, because I was like, you know, somebody's going to look at me and think, well, there's nothing special about her.
wow.
And yeah, so that's how I felt at the beginning. And then I was like, you know what? I am special. I am wonderful. I am
Thank
good
you.
at what I do, and I
Come on.
can do it. Yeah, 100%. So that was my biggest hurdle,
Help
was
yourself
asking
to.
people. Yeah.
How about criticism? Criticism, not only from the general public, or maybe fear of criticism. When you put yourself out there
Yeah.
and you did this and you were chosen and so forth, I don't really want to ask how your family, but were there people that were naysayers or critics, or people that just didn't understand why you are embarking on this journey?
Yeah. So at the beginning of the journey, and especially in the workshop and the first few weekly sessions that we have with the management, Mrs South Africa management team, they they equip us and they explain to us, these are the things that are probably going to happen. You're going to lose friends. You're going to have a lot of people questioning why you entered. You know, what are you doing this for? You're going to get negativity, because not everybody's going to love you. Not everybody's going to think you're wonderful. But you know what? That's okay, because there are people that think you are wonderful. There are people that think you worthy. And the most important thing is, if you think that you are worthy, you've got to cut out the negativity that comes your way. And it's always going to be, that's with anything in life, not just,
Exactly.
you know, the pageant itself. Social media is can be a bad thing, but it's also a very good thing as well. So
Mm,
yes, they give us all these lectures, they give us all these talks. We have wellness wellness teachers as well, that, you know, weekly or bi-weekly, that motivate us, that listen to us, that help us through with any concerns or anything that we have to discuss as well. So they definitely equip us
mm,
to be stronger women and go out there, because they also want to be proud of us, you know.
of
These are
course.
the Yeah, you know, these are the women that they chose, or the judges chose, and um these women have to represent and represent and you know, as far as the pageant is concerned, be good role models, and so they do equip us for that. Yes.
Awesome. So there's someone who's asking a question, which I'm going to post right now. But then I also wanted to ask you, are you sure, just off the bat, how long Mrs South Africa has been running, Tasnim?
Oh no, I'm not. I know it's a good couple of years.
Mm,
um no, I'm actually not too sure. Do you know?
okay. No, no. It wasn't. I
Oh,
wasn't trying to trick
was it a
you.
question that somebody posed?
No, no,
No,
no,
I
no.
don't, but I know
I was
it's
just
a
wondering.
long.
So
No, it's a
Marishka
long
here,
time. Hmm.
Marishka's saying, how did you actually prepare for this pageant? I think, I don't know if she understands that there's a lot of training and things happening, but did you prepare beforehand? Did you change something in your preparation for going for entering?
So personally, what I did and what they offer us as a semi-finalist is to um, use the mentors that they have as well, right? So it's either women that have been in the pageant before, women that have been runner-ups, and so forth, women that have experience in pageantry,
Powerful.
and specifically the Mrs South Africa as well. So you can make use of them, which I did. So that was one of the ways that I prepared myself. So I had an awesome mentor, Marika Opperman, during the semifinals. There's so many things she taught me, like how to pose, how to smile, just my Instagram itself, the posting. She still shouts at me up until today for some of the things I do. Um, and even though she doesn't have to now in the finals, she still advises me as much as she can. And if I need anything or if I feel overwhelmed about something, I go to her. So there are a lot of people you can, you send a WhatsApp, you send an email to the Mrs. South African management team as well. They always answer. The COO, Marlene, she's so methodical and but she's such an awesome person. But she teaches you, that whole professionalism and how you need to conduct yourself, and you need to be prepared always for everything and anything. So you learn a lot. Even if you think you're not going to or you don't want to, it just comes. You do learn. As far as walking on a ramp, so I've done a few shoots already with the Mrs. South Africa team, some on my own, and I've gone to a gentleman, Rasmus, that has his own modeling agency. So I've done one training session with him. Wayne Stafford, very well known in the pageantry world. We did it was a Cat Street clothing modeling. What was it? Yeah, convention almost for him. So we couple of us were on stage and walking, and that also gave me the experience. So the more you do, but it's also up to you because it's not compulsory. So they give you the tools. It's there for most of it, and it's up to you if you want to use it or not. And me personally, that's what I did to prepare for the 11th of November at Empress Palace.
It's gonna be fantastic. So
It is.
I was just thinking now, so in the beginning stages when all of the semi-finalists were together, was there ever a stage where you felt uncomfortable of putting yourself out there, walking on the ramp or answering a question, thinking that you might not be as good as the one next to you, anything like that? Or does everyone just put themselves out there if they make their naam plakkies of wat ook al? Is it okay? Does people laugh at each other, or are they supportive and so forth?
So both. We laugh at the stupid things we do, but we're also very supportive. I think one of the biggest of life-changing things for all of us, in fact, and I know I can talk for all of us that been in the semi-finals, is when we put a costume on and had to walk in front of the judges. Now, a lot of people have their own, thoughts and views around women wearing costumes, but geez, it is, I say this word all the time, but it is so empowering, Chantell. You put this costume on and you're like, you're used to going to the beach or being with your family and friends and that. But when you're putting it on and you know that you're going to be judged with just this piece of fabric that you have on, you are self-conscious, right?
Sure.
And you have a whole lot of things going through your mind. But then you turn around to look at every other woman in that room and you realize that, you know what, most of us here have had kids. We don't have perfect bodies. But you know what? We are all okay and we're loving our bodies just the way we are. And you get out and the whole, oh gosh, that awesome feeling of being in front of those judges, walking, smiling, talking. And when you walk off there, it is the most beautiful feeling ever.
Wow.
It just it just does something to you. It really does.
I can already see that there's been so many great things ingrained in you that you cannot walk out of this, even if you don't become, and I'm
Yeah.
not jinxing you, but even if a
No,
person doesn't become the ultimate Mrs. South Africa or People's Choice, whatever, I believe that you've been equipped with so much that your life can just never, ever be the same again.
yeah, 100%. I promise you, it is. I mean, yes, there's a lot of people that know me now, and a lot of people that say, that go on about, are you in the Mrs. South Africa? And there's some beautiful photos because there's professionals that take those photos as well. But I'm just a normal person. I live a normal life. I have a normal job. But I've grown. I've grown so much, and there's so much more that I want to do. I've started collaborating with 3 NPOs, something I never thought I'd be able to do in all my life because I just didn't know where to start. And again, this platform has given me that opportunity, and it's the most amazing people that I've met. Women Changes, Women and Girl Changes, Jason's Angels, and Warriors with a Purpose. So I do a lot of work with them, talks with them, and they're just also in my corner. And you get to know these people and go out to the places that they go to and the people that they help. And gosh, some things are really heartbreaking because we take a lot of things for granted. I think our kids sometimes need to be exposed to some of the
Yes,
hardships that are out there,
yes,
for them to realize, how much they need to give back as well, but also be grateful for what they have, no matter
absolutely.
how small it is. And we tend to forget that. So that's really opened my eyes and touched my heart in so many ways also.
Wow. Okay, so I know we're going to end off very soon. I just know that Ingela asked you, I believe that she's saying, Tasnim, do you know if the show, I believe she's talking about the finale, is going to be broadcast live? I presume so, or is it on SABC3, or where does it go?
So no, it's not on TV itself. It's on YouTube, on the Mrs. South Africa YouTube platform. Semifinals was live, and I'm assuming it's going to be live. If it's not going to be live on that evening, it will be obviously posted straight after that. So yes, you'll be able to see quite a few of the highlights from the finale as well.
So, and just one last question: if someone wants to enter, but they don't live in Johannesburg, because it seems like a lot of the events and things happens there. But I did see some of the people come from the finest, or from J-Bay and stuff like that, places like that. Is it possible for people from smaller towns to also enter? Are they able to get to everything that is required of them?
Absolutely. So what the Mrs. South Africa team does is they put the schedule or itinerary together for a good couple of months in advance, so when you need to travel. They give you enough time for that. There are some things that you need to be in Johannesburg for, or depending on wherever they are at the time. And there's some things that you don't. So a lot of ladies have done is they actually get sponsorships for their flights as well, for people to pay for their flights also. So that definitely helps. Yeah, so they do encourage you for everything that you do on your journey is to get in as much sponsorships as you can, and not use money out of your own pocket. So that definitely helps. For those that can't, then you do what you have to do.
Yes.
But yeah, definitely you can come from the forest in South Africa, and I know we've previous queens as well. Haven't all been from Johannesburg. So definitely, yes.
Here is someone who is saying something beautiful. I know Taz personally, and she's so humble. The beauty you see on the outside is nothing compared to what lies within. An amazing woman who brings so much love, kindness, and compassion in everything that she does. Jason Behrens, you've just scored yourself some brownie points right there. Beautiful. Thank you
Thanks,
so much.
Jason.
Well, it's always good when someone else can blow the trumpet and say that you're a wonderful person. But I think that everyone who has watched tonight, those who are going to watch the rebroadcast, listen to the podcast, will really understand in their spirit, because as soon as someone starts speaking, you can just pick up, is this person genuine? Have they walked the journey? Do they deserve the privileges, the benefits? And I just want to say that I feel honored tonight, Taz, to have been able to speak to you, to have your voice go out on a different platform. And I really pray God's richest blessing over you, that he has already put the blueprint for your life out. And once say, come to a place where you say, yes, Lord, I surrender, and I will follow your pathway, that it's just the most beautiful things that happens, because he's a good, good father. And I pray that you will every day taste and see, and that miracles will surround you. And that once you get to that platform, whether you go wherever, and we pray that you are people's choice and get the crown, but wherever you go in future, I pray that you'll really make an impact in our country for the better.
Thank you, and I hope I do. That's my intention. Definitely, it doesn't matter what happens after the 11th. I have my NPOs that I'm working with, and a lot of other things that I'll be doing as well. But yeah, definitely, I'm looking forward to it. Thank you so much.
Someone else is saying something. Tasnim, you have God's blessing and favor. There we go. So all of these that are spirit-filled people on you tonight, please pray for her. There's something that prayer can do that nothing else can do for a person. And always say that the Lord can do and go where money cannot go and money cannot buy. So that is what we proclaim over her. And I think I just want to share something with those who are listening. Once a person who loves the Lord goes out of a position of power. You see, we look at pageants and we think it's vanity. We look at sports stars or people in the music industry and we think, oh my goodness, why are you doing that? Firstly, it's a gift and it's an opportunity. And everything in life, it is easy. It's easy to be in poverty. And I'm don't say this disrespectful. But it's easy to become nothing because you just do nothing. You just idle go through life and automatically life will take you backwards. Depreciation is automatic. Once you buy something, as soon as you pull that car out of the showroom, it depreciates. Everything that in life depreciates, devalues, etc. So it takes something. A fish can just, they say, go with the flow. It's only a dead fish. It is someone who has tenacity and backbone and man, it takes something of you to become something in this life. So you have to, and I have to pray for people who are currently representing in all spheres of society, whether it's in government or in media or in education or wherever they are. And that's why God said to me, start this platform to showcase, because many times we see the preachers, we see the people who have a mic in hand, and we think that is the only ones who are the light and the salt, but it's not true. God's people are shattered and scattered everywhere, not shattered, scattered everywhere, and they are making a difference. But if a person who believes in the Lord goes out of that place of influence, there's a vacuum, and a vacuum sucks in any evil thing. And that is why I want to encourage you tonight. If you see Tasnim or if you see any of the other ladies and you really feel a connection, pray for that person, because a voice is needed. A voice of hope is needed in a time such as this. So Taz, it was an honor and a privilege. I will keep on following your journey, cheering you on. And this was wonderful for me.
No, thank you. I've really, really enjoyed this. Thank you, Chantell. And I wish you all the best with your platform as well. And I hope that it just grows and grows and people see the benefit from it. And yeah, keep doing what you're doing. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. Have a good evening. I'm going to release you now, and everyone sleep well. Keep on following this lady. Go and stalk her, like everything. Remember those SMSs. If you didn't see it, it's going on the screen right now. But if you're listening on the podcast and it's before the 11th of November, 2022, then you can send an SMS, which will cost you R3. You know that upfront, it's not a scheme, but you send Tasnim Young-Norris to 47587, and then she stands a chance to win. This is not to put her on the stage for Mrs South Africa for the winner.
Thank you so much.
This is for People's Choice.
Thanks, Chantell.
People's Choice. Mwah. See you soon. Bye-bye.